Come on down to Bob's Interwebs Emporium and get yourself a brand new internet. There's no stealing, no plagiarism, and most importantly, no hacking, unless you're talking about the cryptocurrency hacking, and then we might just have some. No money? No problem. Just go on down to your current internet and pick up some of that magical internet money. Come on down and see Bob at Bob's Interwebs Emporium. We'll see you there. Hey guys, welcome to BitBoy Crypto. I am your host, BitBoy. Hope you guys enjoyed that little intro. I made that several months ago when I did my original review on Elastos. Actually, if you look closely at it, it's using the old Elastos logo. I'm going to show you guys the new one here in just a second, or heck, maybe I'll pop it behind me right now. So I've done a review on Elastos before, and a lot of people in our community in the Bit Squad have been talking about wanting to get updates on Elastos. So I decided to make an Elastos update video, and then I started getting into the video and I started realizing that unless I do a more in-depth video, not necessarily longer, but where I kind of go over some of the different parts of Elastos that people need to know, then people aren't going to understand the updates. If I gave you the list of updates from Elastos from the last week, and you didn't know a lot about the project, it would make absolutely no sense to you. So today we're going to do a video. We're just going to do a simple overview of some of the terms. We're going to be talking about carriers. We're going to be talking about virtual machines. We're going to be talking about runtime. We're going to be talking about the Trinity Browser. We're going to be talking about the TV box that's involved in this project and things like that. But before we get into it any further, make sure you are a subscriber to our channel. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and the bell for notifications, and then you're part of the Bit Squad. As a member of the Bit Squad, you have the opportunity to enter our contest right now for October and November. All you got to do is like and comment on this video and all the rest of our videos in October and November to get the maximum number of entries. The winner, we're giving away $500 worth of Ethereum and merch from my merch store. Also doing a big giveaway on Twitter, so make sure you guys head on over to Twitter at BitBoy_HODL. I got this really nice new overlay, as you guys can see, with some social media information on it. But, all right, guys, let's get into Elastos. So here I am on the Elastos website. Is a really fancy little graphic there, as you can see. And this is Elastos. You can see the new logo up in the top left-hand corner. I really encourage you guys to check it out. If you go here to the community page, you can see their roadmap, which kind of ends in December right now in terms of what they show on the website. Of course, the project isn't over at that point. Some frequently asked questions. You can get to all their different social media links and stuff like that. But one big change that they've had on the Elastos website is where now they have a separate website for news updates. So here, this is ELAnews.net. Of course, ELA is the ticker symbol for Elastos. And here you can go, and they've got it laid out very nicely. You can get the different updates from October. And I'll kind of show you what I mean. If we click on the Elastos update here, as you can see here, it talks about the different dynamics. It's talking about the mobile wallet app for the Trinity Browser, completing the function of registering sidechains, which, you know, so sidechains is pretty common in blockchain, so you may know what that is. They're talking about token chain, talking about the POW plus DPoS prototype verification, and things like that. So down here it says carrier now supports group API. You may not know what the carriers are and things like that. So before we can ever really get into talking about Elastos in depth and some of the updates, I thought it was important for us to kind of go over some of the basics of this project. So I'm going to be using this article here from investinblockchain.com. And here it talks about the 4 pillars of Elastos. The Elastos blockchain. So we all understand what a blockchain is. Hopefully at this point, if you don't, it's pretty easy to get the resources on that to understand. And the reason why there needs to be an underlying blockchain with Elastos, well, really several reasons. It's going to help with the security of the projects, as we'll look at the virtual machines and how they connect to each other and things like that. It's another way to keep the data from getting corrupted and things like that. So that's kind of why the blockchain is there. But it's important to note that Elastos is a much older company. It's almost 20 years old, and it is not a specific blockchain company, which means they were working on this technology long before they even knew the blockchain existed. So this is a really long-term vision of Rong Chen, the CEO of the company. And it seems to be kind of like outside of the norms of what we see with blockchain companies today. And that's why a lot of people are so excited about this project. It's not doing the simple run-of-the-mill things that so many other projects are doing. And just as a quick overview, as you could tell from the joke of an intro here, Elastos is trying to create an entire new internet. So the current way that people connect TCP, it's just what we know is the internet. What if there was a different way? While we're on the internet, we're sharing our information with centralized companies, with third-party apps, if you will, or really third-party companies. And then, of course, they're distributing our information for money to other places as well. So with Elastos, that doesn't happen at all. It's peer-to-peer internet, basically. Loose connectivity is the way that it's been said before. And this new way of connecting to the internet where we're actually using each other to connect, and we're eliminating the need for these third-party companies, like imagine decentralized social media, for instance, where Facebook's not able to collect all your information because you're sharing directly with another person. And if you build this up to the enterprise level, this would be like if you were working on a super top secret project at your company and you wanted to be able to share your information freely with people who may be working remotely across the world, but you wanted it to be secure so that there wasn't a third party, like let's say some kind of cloud storage like Google Cloud or Amazon Web Services, whatever it may be, where that information is stored. Instead, you're sharing directly with the people who you're working with. So those are the kind of two like consumer and enterprise levels that Elastos is, looking to solve. And so that's a little bit more about the project. I really just kind of went into a long rant right there, as you guys know I love to do. But now we will move on to kind of understanding the different pieces of it. So you have the Elastos runtime. So the Elastos runtime is like a lightweight application that allows you to basically run the Elastos decentralized internet, if you will. It's not a full, complete operating system. Like you wouldn't want to go buy a new laptop and install Elastos on it as your operating system. It's more like you install the Elastos runtime on top of the operating system that you already have. And that's going to help you to create, think of it as a virtual machine. You now have a virtual machine on the Elastos network. But with that virtual machine, not just anybody can connect to you, okay? You have to basically allow permissions for people to be able to connect to your device and to be able to share peer-to-peer with that. So what that is going to do is create an internet connection that hackers cannot get into. Now, there's also something called the DID, which is the first sidechain of Elastos. And this is like an identification number that you can get. I believe it's a number. An identification code might be a better way to say it. But basically where you are recognized as the system as an ID that either has permission to enter another virtual machine or you don't have that permission. And if you do not allow permission into your virtual machine, hackers cannot get in. No one can get in. You have to grant that permission and you have to grant it to that specific ID. So that's a little bit about the virtual machines. And so if you imagine the internet as a graphic of like different machines, you guys have probably seen decentralized networks and graphics and stuff like that. You just got computers everywhere and then they're all drawing lines to each other. Well, that's kind of how Elastos is going to work as well, except for no one automatically gets access to your machine. You have to grant the access. So if you go back to our explanation earlier talking about enterprise, about if you're working remotely with other people and you want to share secrets with them directly, then you simply would grant your coworkers that you would grant their DIDs permission to be able to come in onto your virtual machine. Now, these are done through what we'll talk about now, which are the Elastos carriers. The Elastos carriers are like the connectivity between the virtual machines. They're what creates the network in a sense. And so for you to allow someone else to connect to your virtual machine, you have to use what are called the carriers. And so one really cool thing that they've done to kind of kick this off is the TV box. So the TV box was created by a Chinese company, and it's supposed to be marketed to half of the Chinese market. And these TV boxes are a way that people can watch TV, but they're also double serving as a connectivity piece, aka a carrier. So these carriers are going to be distributed all across the world over the long term, and that is how people are going to be able to connect to each other. So you're not going to use the standard, modem router connectivity to connect to the internet, to connect to the decentralized internet of Elastos. You're going to use these carrier devices. And when these carrier devices, I was thinking of them kind of like little Trojan horses almost, but that has a negative connotation. But it's like you get this TV box, and then all of a sudden now you have a carrier on the network, and you're just using it to watch TV. But people will be able to connect to different virtual machines via your carrier. So that is what the carriers are and how they kind of relate to this project. Of course, then you have the Elastos SDK, which, if you don't know what SDK is, it stands for Software Development Kit. And this is where they're going to be building their dApps. Now, the dApps are going to be built inside of the Trinity Browser. So the Trinity Browser, it's based on the Chromium engine. It's going to be integrated with the Elastos framework, as you can see here right at the top. So it says we can also think of Trinity as an Elastos virtual machine that supports the lifecycle of decentralized applications for development, packaging, installation, and execution. Elastos is the official name of this app. Desktop is the internal name. Trinity is the name of the project. So Trinity is where people are going to be able to develop decentralized apps on the network. They're going to be able to get them out. They're going to be able to install them. They're going to be able to execute them. So that is the Trinity browser. Now, this entire thing, right? So this is another term I feel like you need to know. This entire thing is called the Elastos Smart Web. So all of these things we've talked about today are components within the Elastos Smart Web. And I just want to talk about one last thing with the connectivity and the security. So the way when you're able to connect to a virtual machine via an Elastos carrier, as soon as that connection is severed, as soon as you close your application, you no longer will have access to that virtual machine again. You'll once again have to be granted access to it again. This is to keep kind of rogue people out from getting into these virtual machines once a carrier is established. So basically what Elastos is trying to do is create a new internet. There's really no other way to say it. It's almost like trying to imagine a new color. You can't do it. It's virtually impossible because all of the colors in your mind that you could come up with are mixes of the current colors that we already have. This is almost the same thing. Internet is ingrained in us at this point. So for us to think about a new internet, it really kind of blows our mind because we don't know another way to connect. But if you think of our current configuration with internet, it's so easy for hackers to get into anything. And I've been quoted as saying, maybe I only quote it myself, but that I believe we're still actually in the wild, wild west days of the internet, not just cryptocurrency. In the future, I think a lot of these hacking problems are going to be solved. They're always going to be trying to stay on the edge, on the front edge of technology, but eventually we may be able to create security so strong that no one can get into it, except for, of course, people on the inside who would know the flaws. But with this smart web, it's just a more secure way to go about connecting to each other via this new internet. So if you think of it like this, the challenges of Elastos, one of the big challenges is going to be the consumer level, right? Because the instance that I gave you, where we're talking about people working together and allowing people into their network to collaborate on a project, that's easy to envision. You can see that. And of course, with almost all technology, it's actually adopted commercially and via enterprise before it's adopted to the mainstream. I mean, just look at the internet. Businesses were using it long before it became public. So that's kind of the same thing here, where I can see the commercial value of this. It's so easy to imagine these scenarios where people are collaborating. You can look at criminal records, insurance records, medical records. Those are all things that might need to be given permission to access, but then you don't want those people to be able to copy that material or to steal it. So that would be a reason to create an Elastos virtual machine for those things. However, when we drill down a little bit further to the consumer level, it's kind of difficult to imagine us all as just individual people, not part of corporations, being able to connect to each other. Like, think about how many different connections via carrier nodes you would need to run something like Facebook, where you may have 1,000 friends. I have 0 because I cut my Facebook. I think you probably should too. That's not social media advice. Actually, it is. But imagine all the connections you would need to create for a peer-to-peer decentralized network on this new internet. So very difficult for me to see this taking off in the next few years on that level. But on the enterprise and commercial level, I can definitely see it happening in the not too distant future. It's a great way to share information and to keep it secure. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. We talked about a lot of the basic tenets of Elastos, a lot of the things that you're going to need to know if we're going to do Elastos updates in the future. I may try to get someone from Elastos on the channel to explain that even better down the road and things like that. So it is one of the most complicated projects in the world of crypto, but yet I still have the confidence in it because it existed before blockchain, and these are complicated ideas they've been working on for a long time. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to smash the like button. Until next time, BitBoy out.